So, hey y'all, this is the Old Range Tournament back with part 3 and probably the final part of my breakdown of the things that Wizards of the Coast does for the casual player. So, in my new attitude of trying not to do what the internet does and focus on negatives, I'm trying to focus on positives, and Wizards has done a lot of positives for the casual player over the years. 25 of them, as a matter of fact. So let's kind of take a little history lesson and go back. And Magic, first off, was a worldwide phenomenon rather quickly, actually, and probably caught Wizards pretty much unaware, the best I can tell. They had no idea. I mean, they sold out. They had printed enough cards that they thought they would last a year or something. They sold out in weeks. And stores were perpetually behind all the way up to Fallen Empires, which that's a story for another day. But again, it was a global success, really, almost overnight in a pre-internet age, and that's also probably the discussion for another day. But what it was is that they had a hit, and how do you take this hit and how do you get it in front of people? So one of the first things they came up with pretty early on was the promotional tour. And that's been around for a long time, but we're not talking about the pro tour, promotional or professional, however you want to look at it. We're talking about the casual atmosphere. And so early on, Wizards knew they needed people to play the game. And how do you get people to play the game? Well, you need the support of an LGS, a local game store, which is what I represent here in Mountain Grove. So you need local game stores to support your product. And if you can get them to support your product, then you can sell more product. If you sell more product, you can keep making more product, keep making more sets, and you can get more people playing. It's a system that feeds itself to this very day. And so one of the things Wizards done, or a few of them, and I don't have the exact timeline mapped out, but they started pre-releases pretty early. About Ice Age was the first one. The first one I went to was Mirage. I drove all the way to Wichita, Kansas for a Mirage pre-release. And this is pretty much pre-mainstream internet. There was a little bit. There was Usenet groups. I don't know exactly. I'm not an internet aficionado. But I didn't know anything about these cards when I sat down to play. And it was a blast. It was just a blast. I think there were a few lists printed out, running around that some people had gotten a hold of somehow. But me, I didn't know anything. I sat down and I read Flanking and I'm blown away. So anyway, pre-releases were pretty early on, and then they've continued to this day. They used to be a big regional thing. You had to go a long ways. Back with Shards of Alara, I believe it was, they started letting the local stores have the pre-releases, and that way people didn't have to travel so far to be a part of this huge deal. And that has been tremendously successful, a great thing that Wizards has done. So another thing they did early on was the Arena League. Arena League was a way to get people into the store every week to play cards, to play Magic, and to get promos for doing it. First it was lands and a few odds and ends that had a special symbol on them because we didn't have foils yet. And then they did Vanguard, which is sort of a precursor to Commander if you look at it that way. Vanguard cards, look them up sometimes. They're oversized. They modified your life, your hand size, and so forth, and had some abilities on your field, and they were sort of in the command zone. I don't think it was called that yet. But they gave those out as prizes at Arena Leagues. Some basic lands with alternate art and so forth. So, and then there was Friday Night Magic, which came around pretty early. That was in 2000, I believe. So we're like 18 years into Friday Night Magic. Friday Night Magic came around in like 2000. That it didn't replace the Arena League, but it was in addition to. And all these things were to get more people to come out and play. Every one of them was to get more people to come out and play. Yeah, they were made for stepping stones. Arena was made more for the casual player to get them into the store. Friday Night Magic was more of a sort of a stepping stone originally to get you to go to like GPs and PTQs and stuff like that, But again, it's another way to play in your local environment and get some games in. So those were things that they did early. Kind of peeking at my show notes, my cheat sheet down there. The first pre-release they did a foil card for was Tempest. I think that was a Dirt Cow Worm. Hope I'm right on that. I didn't look that up. But anyway, there was a lot of cool stuff with the pre-releases early on, but much better now that they're in store. So we talked a little about the Pro Tour. That's not really for casuals. Grand Prix is not really for casuals either, although nowadays Grand Prix are a great place if you're a casual player. Don't even play in the main event. Go play side events. You can play Commander, you can play Pauper. Sometimes they do championships for those if you really have a little bit of a knack or a want to compete. But you can just go play side events. You can go to Turbo Town and just play casual stuff over there. Get some tickets, get stuff off the prize wall, and just have a great time in Casualville there. After going to GP Vegas, I mean, there is a lot of mileage to get out there. Pick up some drafts and stuff. There is a lot of fun stuff to do that way. Another program Wizards came up with was Game Day. And this is mainly since I opened the store. We're getting into programs. I opened 2010. We get into programs that I'm more familiar with. Game Day, which happened 3 weeks after the set came out. And you had kind of what we now have is store championships, but you had sort of a store champion. They went to PPTQs here just a few years ago. So that's something, again, that can be done on the store level. And you didn't have to have a massive store or have a massive fund of money in order to have an extra space. So again, not necessarily aimed at the casual player, but a lot more ways that that as a casual player, maybe you get interested in what else there is in Magic and ways to lead you down that path. Now Wizards has got a really good program going, and I think it works really well. We've got an open house when a new set comes out. So an open house, everybody come in. If you've wanted to learn to play, it's a great time. We've got freebie decks to give out, which we have all the time, but freebie decks to give out, teach you to play with, come out. And franchise players can come out, help teach those new players, help show them where they can get to if they won and what's going on. So open house is the week before the pre-release. Let's get excited. Guilds of Ravnica is coming. There'll be an open house. Come out for that. Whether you're an old player, new player, wannabe player, you come out and play in those things. After the open house is the pre-release, the very next weekend. So you come out for open house, you learn to play. What do you want to do now? Let's go play in a pre-release. Pre-release is the lowest bar to entry. You don't need to have any cards. You just show up, you open 6 packs, and you build a deck. And there's always in franchise players, store owners, employees that will help you build a deck if you're scared of that. So come out, build a deck. It's a pre-release. It's very laid back. Most stores went to a pretty flat prize support, and that helps to make sure the casuals don't get, I don't know, I guess the word I would be looking for is pissed off, that they came and played and didn't get anything. So a flat prize support, not, the guy who wins it all gets all the cards, but everybody gets a little something, right? So you got the pre-release, and then you got draft weekend. That's the week that the set comes out. Come out and draft. Well, let's teach you to draft. Well, it's not that difficult, but there is a definite skill level there that makes being competitive at it difficult. But come out and draft the cards on draft weekend and get more cards that then you can build after your pre-release and your draft weekend. Hopefully you have enough cards, along with helps from trading with friends or picking up a few singles from your LGS. You can build a constructed deck, okay? If you're ready for constructive, then standard showdowns are going to start just a week or so after that. If you're not ready for the standard showdowns, which is another great program because, again, I do a flat free prize support, and we get the standard showdown packs that you can win. You can come out for League. League is a month long. You get 3 packs. You build a 30-card deck. You play. Every week you add a pack. If you get 3 losses, you can add another pack. And you play for a month in the League. The standard showdown's going. You got Friday Night Magics that are happening. And then at the end of the season, you got a store championship, which can be draft, sealed, or standard, depending on your LGS. So lots of opportunities for casual players to play, lots of opportunities aimed at getting you into the LGS, which is where you're going to make sure that you're playing the game right. If you're out there playing in a vacuum, and you're always going to play in a vacuum, and you never give a frick about anything else, It's fine if you decide to play 73 card decks with 1,000 life, and they always have to be monocolor at your kitchen table. But if you really want to get what Magic has, you need to come out and explore the community just a little bit. And you need to see what all the hoo-ha is about. And coming to your LGS, your local game store, hopefully your FLGS, your friendly local game store, is one of the best ways that you can do that. So, as an FLGS, I encourage you, if you're watching this video and you haven't tried Magic, try it. Go to your local game store and give it a shot. So anyway, hopefully this has been a little walk down through what Wizards is doing. I can't imagine me doing a 4, but I may from time to time speak about the subject. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you haven't, let me know. If you haven't, let me know, I guess. I just like to see some comments down here. So thanks again for watching, and come on out to the guild. We're always doing something fun.